guys. I'm sitting outside even though it's 38 degrees today in the Blue Mountains. I'm exhausted, haven't done much, but I thought I'd just take you on a bit of a junk journaling afternoon, what I've been doing today and actually over the last couple of days, building some junk journals, trying some different techniques and seeing what I prefer. Still a work in progress, and I just am feeling flat today. I've watched a bit of social media about Renee Nicole Good, the shooting in Minneapolis in the US, and I'm heartbroken for her wife and for her family, and I'm heartbroken for Americans. So I had a comment when I recently joined YouTube where someone said, don't bring your politics over here, it doesn't go with craft. Well, you know what, it does. And the best thing about crafting is when you're angry, exhausted, sad, feeling out of sorts, spending some time doing this. And usually I do listen to the news or I do watch my favourite YouTubers, whether they're political or crafty, and it makes me feel better, and it makes me feel in touch with the world, and makes me feel aligned with good folk. So do whatever you need to do for your mental health, but this is where I'm at. So it's just hot and awful today, and there's bushfires across Australia, a lot in Victoria, and I'm feeling for everyone. So here we go, lots and lots of papers here, and I've just been adding more and more things that I've found around the house and things that I've hung on to. And no, I'm not a papercraft person. So here's a bit of my embroidery, which you've seen before. I've been building these panels, and guess what? These panels that are sitting in my cupboard now have some home, as in being covers. This one is the one I've now onto, and you won't believe it. There was 2 sets of these old, I guess they're scientific manuals, and I thought, these haven't sold, I'm going to make them into junk journals. And of course, they sold overnight. So I had to apologise and refund the person because it already pulled them apart. Now, these are called signatures when you have a collection of papers, and depending how many signatures you need is the size of the spine or the depth of the spine. And I think because this is a narrow spine on this bigger book, I'm going to just do 2, but I thought I might add a bit of fabric in as well with pockets and things like that. So it doesn't have to be just about the paper. So here I am. I don't even care. It doesn't need to be perfect. I could shred it and rip it and all that stuff, but I found it a bit hard to do that in front of you with the camera. These camera stands are kind of right in the way of everything as I'm doing everything. I still haven't got it right. So I just thought, look, let's just cut it to shape and sort of make do for now. And if it needs tidying later, then I can always do that later. This is such a forgiving craft. So anyway, I put together those 2 books I showed you in the beginning. I might just show another quick shot of them too. It is very easy to do. Just watching YouTube. That's all I've done, is watched various people making theirs and deciding which works best for me, which kind of glue I prefer and which way I prefer to finish. So I am trying different techniques. For example, those embroidered covers can be a bit heavy. I thought I'd just quickly insert these again. So this is just sort of a collage, and this one is some of my embroidered pieces with old vintage fabrics, which it's a kind of a chunkier finish on the cover, but it's still working. I'm still getting the hang of that. So now I'm going to make a pocket for this signature, a sleeve that goes into a signature. I have to learn all the language, don't I? So I just thought this little pretty piece of remnant fabric is perfect. So I'm just cutting a sort of a rough pocket shape. Doesn't need to be perfect, guys. I mean, we're not carrying our coins. We're putting in cute things. We're putting bits of paper and fabric and things like that into these pockets. So, old photos or bus tickets or whatever you want to put in, your drawings. It doesn't need to be perfect. So I'm just going to get my needle here and give it the old thread. And so it just makes for an interesting piece within that junk journal. Let's see if I can get this right. I'm talking the whole way through this only because my family kept coming in and out and talking over my videos that I decided I'll just get rid of all the audio and start again, which means I'm talking for 30 something minutes. So that's pretty crazy. Anyway, you get the idea here. It's just a straight stitch going right round. Nothing fancy, not even straight. Look at that, hey? Not even a pin to hold it in place. I'm just doing. Look, I went down to the tip shop and I found a whole load of other books and figured, let's just keep going on this. rather than striving perfection, it's about the having fun, which is all my mantra is ever that. I just don't understand the perfection side. I'm into the making and I love it and I want you to love it. And I definitely think we could be doing some workshops in this too. And I've seen a couple of online workshops and people have asked me as well. So I have to learn about how you do that. How do you create something that people can buy into and you do a really slow step-by-step? I guess that's the idea of it. So it's engaging and you can take your time and we can work together. But anyway, that's beyond me right now. As you can see, I'm just a doer. I just get into things. So I found some great books at the tip shop, really good hardback novels, which were very, very, very daggy. So they've come home with me and they were free. And I also got a copy of The Hungry Caterpillar, so I'm thrilled about that. There's some really good graphics in that I can use. Whoops, looks like the needles come out here. And I'll go off camera a bit too. That's life, hey? We'll go off camera. Oh gosh, look at this. Anyway, I work it out. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I got a few bits and pieces from the tip shop. So I'm ready to make a few more. And I do have various glues that I'm trialing. I have a very hardcore glue, which I use for making brooches and things. So I've tried that on one of the spines of the books when you connect when you put your signatures together and then you bind them in and then you glue them into the actual book cover. I'm trying different ways. So where the base might be glued fabric, it might be paper. Then I'm trying different glues to see longevity and what I feel and how easy it is to do. I must say that threading the signatures caused me a little bit of grief. I'm learning how to thread in and out. But I'm having a lot of fun. I am learning and, trying to be coordinated and things like that. But you can see all these papers here. I'm just really grabbing whatever. I would love to eventually make my own papers and do that kind of thing. This is me going through and deciding where this should live amongst everything. I've decided you should reveal the duck. So a mixture of fabrics and paper is quite fun. And then whether or not I keep one of these as my own or give these away or do whatever I do with them, I didn't want to put too much embellishment. I know a lot of people put a lot of embellishment in. I do want to make it that it becomes that person's personal journey. So whether I made a completely blank one and that becomes someone's personal journey, or do you sort of put a couple of things in to entice people? These are the things I've got to learn. So here's the spine of that book. It is very thin. And I just wanted to show you. So it's got the covers front and back, which I probably would cover. I'm not sure. They are kind of gorgeous. And it's a kind of a scientific manual book. And I look at even those sticky tape marks. So that's the two signatures there now. And I kind of feel like that's enough. You can see it's not completely chunky yet, but by the time you add your artwork and bits and pieces that you've collected, it'll get chunky. So it probably doesn't need much more. Anyway, then I thought we might just play with the cover for a while. And I've grabbed a few bits of fabrics and doilies. Not sure if that's the right one. I was looking for some darker colours and things. So I've just picked things up. This I absolutely love. This is one of my very favourites at the moment. And this was from a very cute, probably 1960s version of the Ugly Duckling. Is it 1960s maybe? I don't know. And I've torn this page out and thinking I'm going to use those swans. So if you want to sit with me for a moment, let's have a look at cutting things out, fussy cutting. I don't mind a bit of cutting here and there. I wasn't sure how much of this to show you, but I figure if you're sitting with your project and just hanging out with me for the moment, this could be fun. If not, you could forward on a little bit. But what I'm doing here is just building a bit of a cover. So I want to put the swans in. Swans are all the rage at the moment, it seems, everywhere I look. And I even have swan fabric, which I did quite a few years ago. And I think I might even update and do some new designs with my swans that I've developed. I don't know how many years ago I designed them. They are popular. Black swans they are. And I think these, one was in the foreground, one in the background. But I think I want them side by side facing each other. It's kind of cute. I just got a scare. There's the most gorgeous little lizard decided to come and have a look at me. I think I'm going to stop now and show you. Hang on. back to it, hey? I always get sidetracked, but this lizard, he's still looking at me. He's quite adorable, so I will go and find him a little bit of water in a minute. I do have water bowls out everywhere in the garden. And when I just checked with Alexa, she said 38 degrees, and it will be getting down to 14 tonight, which is really exciting because it's really hard to sleep at night when you're menopausal as well. And one of the shopkeepers in Mount Vic said yesterday she had a brown snake, 2-metre brown snake by her back door. So if you don't know about Australian brown snakes, look them up. They're pretty terrifying. We have a lot of snakes and things here, but yeah, brown snakes are aggressive and highly venomous. And yes, we have them here in the Blue Mountains. So I'm glad I haven't seen it. I think she called the snake man to come and get him because he hid behind a bucket by her back door and she just screamed and ran inside. There is a bit of a breeze here today too. I'm sitting outside because it's so noisy in our house with all the people and TV and animals, and so I'm playing piano and some playing guitar. So yeah, there is a breeze now. That could be a good or a bad thing. I don't know if the breeze is coming through as audio for you. Now my throat's dry from the wind. It's so hot. But yeah, it's such a scary thing with bushfires when it's this dry. This was a really cute little piece I thought I'd add as well. What is that? A lily? No, what's that called? I just had a brain fart. I've forgotten what they're called. My God, that's weird. Oh, and now an ant's biting my leg. That's good. Bloody Australia. Okay, so we're just going to cut this guy out. I think I'm going to speed him up a bit. Hang on a minute. I think I've sped it. Yeah, I have sped it up. That's a bit better. I just thought it might be getting boring for you guys. I still struggle with making these reels. I don't know why. I guess because it's noisy at home, and then my shop is noisy with the traffic. So I don't really have the perfect place to sit and be quiet. I'm okay with noise, but when you're recording, you kind of don't want all that constant, someone's washing the dishes and someone starts the washing machine and the dog's barking and someone's roaring at the dog to get outside and all of that. Anyway, I can always record over like this, which makes sense. So these kind of look nice. Do they go together? I'm going to try and put them together, I think. They're very sweet. Water lily, that's what it's called. My God. I will add some text, I think, later. I'm going to take you through this as much as I can to show you and see what you think, how it all comes together. Does that work? I don't know. This is some tapestry. I don't think that it's kind of chunky. It doesn't quite sit flat with everything else. But I do like mixing up the fabrics and the paper. I'm just rearranging myself here. Get away from the ants. And this is quite nice. This is a lovely linen tablecloth had a lot of marks on it. So I'm just going to cut out some of these flowers, I think, and use those. So what I'll do is build up the front of the water. I guess you could call it the water, where the swans are sitting with some flowers and things floating around in front of them. I'll do some vintage cotton lace and things like that too. Just build it slowly to give it some zhuzh. And then I'll have to find some text. So on the cover of one of those other junk journals, it was great. I found a quote. I found some other good bits and pieces. So I might even cut letters or words up that I can add. I don't know what the feeling or what the words might be. For those who know my business, Mount Vic and Me, I haven't even introduced myself. I'm 14 minutes in. Hello, I'm Cara. I have a great business in the Blue Mountains called Mount Vic and Me. We are in Mount Victoria at the very top of the Blue Mountains. And how can I say that? Because people always argue with me. The water tank, or the top of One Tree Hill, which is in the Blue Mountains, it's in Mount Victoria, is the highest point of the city of the Blue Mountains. So we often get people arguing, saying we're not the highest point, but yes, we do have a few different mounts here. Anyway, I was saying, what was I saying? Yeah, okay. So, yes, I do get flack for being political, but if you have visited my shop or if you have gone online, you'll know I do a whole range of political, feminist, Australiana, I do tea towels, t-shirts, socks, greeting cards. We do vintage finds. We do craft packs. I do all of that. We do workshops. And now I'm doing a lot more hands-on. And I'm not sure why. I do know that some of this AI crap that's coming out that people are just using to death is killing me. It's killing my fellow designers. It's milking us for all milking us or robbing us really for what we're worth. And I want to go back into more hand done items. So that's where I'm at. And there's one thing AI can't steal is handmade items. So this is part of that journey. I do think that my customers, people out there want experiences. They've got a lot of stuff. So it's fun to build on things that we could do together. And I really encourage people to come and do some workshops or our Stitch Queens Community Day. That is so much fun. I absolutely love it. I never want it to end when we do it. We do 10 till 1 once a month, and everyone brings a plate and we all hang out and we all bring our projects and we just kind of create together, and everyone gives tips and ideas, and we chat about world politics and what people are doing and what the celebrities are doing. It's great fun. So I want to, I did have a few requests, people saying, can you please do some junk journaling as a workshop? And I thought, junk journaling? Oh, that's not me at all. And then I was looking at some really, really old books that were kind of half destroyed and thinking, you know what? I actually think I'd really enjoy this. Here's me that poo-poos everything and then gets into it. So look how haphazard I am. I cut some things sometimes, other times I just fling it down and paste it down and don't worry about having clean edges, because your art, I hate saying craft. Craft is just bull so-and-so. I don't know what my rules are for swearing here on YouTube, but crafting is some word that's been given to women. This is your art. This is your fun. So the most random fun, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Expression. Do your thing, whatever your thing is. So if you just tear things up and whack them on, great. If you like to be ultra particular and get everything laid out first before you glue, so be it. That doily's really not working, Cara. Put that away. Mexican doily with swans. What on earth are you thinking? Somehow here I'm getting a shape. So this is really weird. It's still not working, and I never know when it's working. But I like the way I've torn that piece of paper. That was from a Frankie wrapping gift book. These were from a really cute, that was the bottom of that piece I just showed a minute ago, container that holds socks, a gift container I got from Omnia in Katoomba. Lovely socks for my kids. It's a bit thick though. I sort of decide it's too thick and move it away, but I really like the pattern. But I'm just thinking, if you had your swans laid out there, we need some kind of water or something happening at the bottom, don't we? That's what I keep thinking, like what's happening below. But I can see we're starting to build some shape here. So this is what I'm talking about, layering up all the flowers. I think they'll all go together at the front of the swans with some cotton lace. But you can see at the bottom there, it does need something. What does it need? What do we do? Do we do fabric? Do we do paper? Here's me trying to work out, what should I cut out here? This fabric I got out of Bathurst, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love the colours and the flowers. Oh my God, the wind's really picking up here. And how can I use those? Maybe the tulips could be at the front too? I don't know, what do you think? This is the fun bit, I think, the work in progress of building and building and building. And I found with the other two junk journals I've shown you, I thought I was finished, then I'd glue them, they'd completely dry, then I'd have a look and decide to do another layer. So they've got to be glued, and I use pegs to hold it all in place. Then that comes back another 6 hours later, and then I think, no, now I want to add lace on this section. It's very slow and methodical, which I really like. As I'm trained as a graphic designer, I finished training in, I think 1993 it was, so it was a long time ago. My whole career of creativity has been kind of slamming it, move through it, get things out for the client, what's the budget, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. So to spend time slowing down, doing whatever I please, whacking on huge amounts of glue every which way, not being particular, is just such a joy. And there's no right way or wrong way. I often have people telling me, you should be doing this, or you're not doing that the right way. You know what? Whatever, lady. I want to do it my way. You do it your way. There's no rules. No rules in art. And that's something that I've learned from my career as well. I was trained pre-computers, so we had to have hand drawing skills. I don't think you have to have that so much in the graphic design industry anymore, but it seems to have conglomerated with marketing and social media and everything else. But for us, we had to be able to draw 3D models and typographic illustration, things like that, so I don't know if it's the same anymore. I don't even know if it's called the same thing anymore. But no, I did graphic design, not commercial art, which was the precursor to my industry. That was a lot more bromide cameras and, working slightly differently. So I can't remember which Mac was one of the first ones I worked on, but it was something that you had to print things out at 400% and then downsize it on bromide cameras to use. And I did a lot of work at the time for album covers in the music industry in Sydney, and then moved on to do a few other things, but lots of freelance. And I ended up working with Reader's Digest. I don't know if I've told you that, in the marketing department, where we would do sweepstakes and things like that. And I travelled the world and got to do lots of great things, meeting other people across the globe that were doing the sweepstakes stuff for Reader's Digest. At some point I began to feel quite uncomfortable with that, realising, yes, you do actually have a better chance of winning money in their sweepstakes as opposed to the lotto. But I was got more and more uncomfortable doing it. So this great old gift wrapping book I got from Frankie many years ago. It kind of looks watery. What do you reckon? Should we use that? So I am going to whack some of that down, I reckon. And you'll see here, I sort of cut and then I sort of want to rip things up. Tearing paper is so nice. So I'm looking at the width there, working out, I want it to roll a little bit under the cover as well. That'll give it some extra strength, some hold, but it doesn't need to go back underneath too deep. So we start here and just, that'll give enough to wrap underneath. And then I'm looking to see where that break is further up. So I've sort of got my fingers where it tears further up. See this? And I'm kind of going this way, that way, this way, that way. So you get a lovely shape. That works. What do you reckon? And I think, sometimes I do like to roll it first, just to make sure. I don't know why I do that. I think because I don't want all the glue and then rolling it underneath and then having the glue go everywhere. Now, I have always been precious about glue. Look at me dropping it everywhere. But I've been watching a few junk journal YouTube videos where people aren't, and they use their fingers in it, and they get it over the top of the thing underneath, which I was kind of shocked at. I guess being from a graphic design background where things had to be kind of immaculate and ready to go and presentable and don't waste product and resources and all that stuff. But really, it doesn't matter with this kind of glue because it does dry clear, and in some ways it kind of gives an extra coating anyway, so it's not the end of the world. So I'm loosening up. Oh, see, look at that. You've got a couple of minutes I don't know, it wouldn't be a couple of minutes. You've got a little bit of time to get it spot on. So here's me just making sure I get all the edges and getting all caught everywhere. It doesn't really matter, so just play. And I'm kind of looking in the light to see where I've missed. You can see where it's not sort of shiny. So let's get that into position. And you can move it around too. So that's the other thing. You can land it and then smudge it around till you get the right position for it. I'm not going over the edge at the bottom. I may with some fabric or something else, but for now that's good enough. And then I like to kind of make sure it's really pressed down hard. I've just seen that I can see that the stand here for my camera. This gives you an idea. I'm sitting behind the camera, so the camera's in the way while I build this. So it gives you an idea. It's really uncomfortable. I haven't got the right stand so that it's out of the way and not impacting me being natural on the camera. So I have the camera kind of between my legs and I'm leaning forward and half looking into the camera and half to the side and hoping that it kind of works for you. If there is a better stand out there that someone knows about, please let me know. It's all a learning curve, isn't it? I mean, one day it'd be great to have someone to actually set it up for you and just film you as you go, but hey, we're not there yet. I've only got a tiny presence too on YouTube. I'm so new to YouTube, but if you go and find me on Instagram and Facebook, you'll see it's a bit different over there. I've always been hesitant in doing the videos. I never wanted to do all that. And I've recently joined TikTok as well, so that's growing. But I always thought TikTok was just for people dancing. I didn't get that there would be a mixed bag of people. I thought it'd be a bunch of 20-year-olds dancing. So, yeah, I'm a bit slow there. So, I go and glue this rose, right? Yep. Jumping ahead of myself and then remembering that I wanted the swan underneath. So let's put that down and go and get this bloody swan. Do you say bloody? A lot of us in Australia say bloody, and I don't really think of it as a swear word. I had an American friend once say, "Oh, you Australians, you cuss so much." And there's words that we use that are, as you described, cussing. The C word's a big one for that. But generally things like bloody and things like that, we say, it can be almost warm and friendly in some ways. Oh, too bloody right, or, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, you've got to bloody be joking, that kind of thing. So, sorry if it's not your thing. I always say to people, just, you know, mute me if you don't like listening to it. But if you go and find my brand, you'll see it is a bit noisy with political and swear words and things like that. Anyway, so that was still wet, that rose. Let's just get that down. And you can see where we're going. We're sort of building now. Still needs a lot of, I can see it needs a lot of work. And see here, so what I did was I could see things were lifting here and there. And I watched another YouTuber who just kind of paints glue on top as well. And I always lift and peel and push it back down and do all that stuff. So I think the beauty of making is that you never stop learning. You never stop growing and trying new things and exploring from other great people that you see and follow and think, oh, I love what they're doing. I think I already glued that one. Maybe I got bored of showing you everything. Yeah, I did. We're getting there. I don't know what I was doing there. What was I doing there? Oh, okay, so the face was lifting too. So that's a really fun technique as well. And I do have, I think it's E6000. That was the hardcore glue I was using for the spine, for one of them. So I'll see how that goes as well. I do like trying different things. Like I wasn't really keen on using this glue to hold the signatures and spine in place. I think it's okay though. I did it on one of the journals I showed you at the beginning. Seemed to work okay. Water lily. Lots more building to go, guys. But I think I'm getting close to ending it. And just showing you, this is kind of how it starts. And I can do a lot more later. And I can show a part 2 as well. I could probably do one with the spine and binding the books and all of that. But geez, it's just so hot and exhausting. I've sort of kind of had enough today. And social media and watching the news and stuff is just horrible. So I think this is the most perfect time out to just do things that you really enjoy and get away from it all for a bit. It doesn't stop my anger and it doesn't stop my support for the right thing out there. But here we go. What do you think? I hope you have a beautiful evening. See ya. Have a nice night.